Yeah.
We got London on the track.
This is all God's doing, man, you can't plan it. But if the devil's in the details, then I'm satanic.
As an NBA fan that has grown up watching plenty of battles between basketball's best over the years, I have seen my share of poor officiating by referees. Understanding that bad calls are a part of the game and have to be accepted by fans who watch the sport, I am never one to complain about the refs when discussing the outcome of a particular game. Considering the NBA makes billions of dollars every year and has a vested interest in keeping theatrics at an all-time high, many fans consider the possibility of the NBA being rigged as a way to keep the viewer entertained while simultaneously being able to control who advances. Before starting this video, I want to say I do not believe this theory to be true, and the NBA is in fact not rigged. But with that said, after watching tonight's game between the Golden State Warriors and Cleveland Cavaliers, I'm pretty sure I've just watched the worst officiated game in NBA history. What is good, people's kid? It's your boy Kobe back at it again with another video, and I'm absolutely heated following that debacle. Full disclosure, if you haven't already guessed, I am rooting for LeBron in the finals, but it doesn't make what I'm about to say any less true unless you're a Golden State fan. I'm pretty confident if you come from an unbiased point of view, you will in fact agree with what I have to say in this video. So with that said, let's jump right into what made this the worst officiated game I've ever seen. 4 calls. That's it. 4 simple calls made this the worst officiated game in NBA history. I'm not saying there weren't more favorable calls to choose from for Golden State, or even some favorable calls for Cleveland throughout this game, but I'm simply going to focus on 4 calls that completely changed the direction and momentum of the ball game late in the fourth quarter and overtime. Number 1. Clean strip on Durant by LeBron after the Cavs regained the lead in the fourth quarter. With 6 minutes and 42 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, the refs began their historic incompetence. Before this point, in my opinion, the game was pretty evenly called, and if continued to be called that way, nobody would have anything to say about the officiating. But after a great finish by LeBron to give the Cavs a 92-91 lead, the Warriors get their first gift in the form of a phantom foul call on James after he strips Durant on the drive. On replay, when you take a look at Durant's drive to the rim, there is absolutely zero doubt that LeBron swipes him clean, and you can tell by James' reaction how poor of a call he thought it was. Granted, LeBron complains about many calls, but he obviously had a point there. Durant makes his 2 free throws, and the Warriors get back up again. In my own mind, it's one bad call, and the Cavs still have complete control of their destiny. So let's move on to the next play. Number 2. Kevin Looney obvious foul on LeBron, missed by refs. The next brutal call was one that happened less than a minute after the whistle on LeBron, and this is when I believe the momentum started to change for the Cavs. As the Cavs now trail 94-92, LeBron works and drives to the basket with Steph guarding him. Positioned to help, Kevin Looney comes into the picture and takes a swipe at the ball, but instead of making contact, gets solely LeBron's arm, which leads to a Cavs turnover. With Golden State getting away with the no call, they shortly go on to hit 2 consecutive 3-pointers from Draymond and Steph to build the lead to 194. In a game where you felt just a sliver of Golden State momentum could doom the Cavs, that call was critical, and it made you start to think about the refs' impact on such a back and forth battle. Number 3. Kevin Durant charge call reversed to LeBron James blocking foul. In spite of the prior pivotal calls Cleveland had to overcome to make this close in a tight matchup, the Cavs did an incredible job to fight back and try to steal this game. After an amazing and one finish by LeBron to put the Cavs up 104-102 with 50.8 seconds to play, the Warriors come back to run a Durant ISO at the top of the key against Jeff Green. Instead of stopping around the free throw line, KD goes all the way to the rim where he's met by LeBron. With the 50-50 call needed in that split moment, the official on the baseline signals charge. But after some minor confusion, the referee crew decides to review via replay whether or not this was indeed a charge. After looking it over for a few minutes, the refs decide to reverse the call and assess LeBron a blocking call instead. Bar none, this is the call that I will complain about to the end of time, and I think one of the worst calls in NBA history. Never before had I ever seen a foul call overturned based on a judgment call via replay. Never seen that in high school basketball, college basketball, and definitely not the NBA. I can understand if you want to review whether or not James was in the restricted area, but once that is confirmed, there is no way you can go back and change that call under these circumstances in the NBA Finals. No way. This call undoubtedly changed the game and potentially the series as Durant hits 2 free throws to tie the game with 30 seconds remaining. Unfreaking believable. Number 4. Another clean strip called foul for Durant. Finally, the last call is almost like a troll job by the refs at this point, considering how much they already botched up the game. At the start of overtime, Kevin Durant, who continues to be bailed out time and time again, is given another freebie as George Hill perfectly anticipates Durant's pull-up jumper and clean strips him only to be called for a foul. At this point, it was just comical to see how favorable the game was going for the Warriors, and I pretty much knew the Cavs were not going to come back in this matchup. So yeah, those were the 4 calls that will live in NBA infamy, and call number 3 especially will need to be explained by the league office, as I have not spoken to one person yet who knew of that rule to be able to overturn a charge call like that. Now I know there were some other factors that stopped the Cavs from potentially winning, like JR forgetting the score of the game, but at the end of the day, this vid was meant to show what I believe were the worst calls I've ever seen. And yes, I am rooting for LeBron and may have a bit of bias, but with the stakes that high, I don't think many will disagree that the refs have to be better. They just have to be better. I'm signing out and hoping they will be better for game 2. Shout out to all the subs, shout out to all the haters and trolls. Have fun in the comment section, y'all.